Jeepneys are deeply embedded into our Philippine culture and society so much that it has become a part of our everyday lives. Majority of the Filipinos favor this mode of transportation due to its availability and affordability. During its creation in the World War II, it was celebrated as the symbol of the Filipino people's creativity and skills in innovation. The jeepney is not only a symbol to be used in exhibits or inside souvenir shops, it is also the symbol of camaraderie. The experience of riding a jeepney is incomparable to other modes of travel. However, the Filipinos of the 21st century no longer considers the jeepney as a national pride, but a national headache. Jeepneys are considered as inefficient and it continues to disregard the needs of the passenger. Carbon monoxide is a toxic gas which is emitted by motor vehicles have a massive contribution to the country's environmental problems. It is also responsible for illnesses and ozone depletion. Around 1 billion pesos daily is generated by diesel-powered motor vehicles. The substantial reliance placed on these vehicles or promotes unhealthy lifestyle to both drivers and commuters. Issues such as road congestion, hygiene, and safety are the primary concerns of the Filipino people. In January 2018, the government began to address these matters by removing the jeepneys from their throne. No longer king of the road, the jeepney phase-out began this January 2018. The operation headed by the Department of Transportation received various contrasting opinions from people within different social classes. Ang publiko ay may karapatang iprotesta at tutulan ang mga patakaran ng gobyerno na nakakasama hindi lamang sa kabuhayan ng mga tao, lalo na ang tinatayang 300,000 direktang apektadong mga driver-operator sa buong bansa. Ang plano ng modernisasyon ng PUV ay ganap na binabaliwala ang katotohanan na ngayon. Maraming mga driver ng jeepney ang makakuha lamang ng 200 pesos to 400 pesos sa isang araw para sa 12 to 16 na oras sa kalsada. Ang opsyon na ibinigay sa kanila ay nasa kondisyon ng malapit sa panghabang buhay, utang, habang nagtatrabaho upang magbayad para sa isang sasakyan na marahil pagkatapos ng 7 taon ay nasa isang masamang estado. Samahan niyo ako at suriin natin ang lagay ng ating lipunan ni Eric John Vispo and this is HUMSSDokyu. Its creation began near the end of World War II during mid-1940s. It originated from leftover US military trucks from World War II and made its way to local Filipinos due to the large number of jeepneys left from the war. The word jeepney is generally accepted to originate from the word jeep and knee. In light of the crowded seating, travelers must sit knee to knee. The jeepney was made in order to temporarily replace other public transportation systems in the Philippines due to the chaos created by the World War II. The Philippine government recognized the efficiency and extensive use of these vehicles and decided to regulate their use. They require drivers to acquire professional license, establish regular routes, and reasonable fixed fare in order to re-establish the transportation system of the post-war Philippines. Sarao Motors is a Filipino automotive manufacturing company headquartered in Barangay Pulang Lupa in the city of Las Piñas in Metro Manila, Philippines. The company designs, engineers, manufactures, and distributes the jeepney, the most popular form of transportation in the country, labeled as the king of the road in the Philippines. The company was first established as a small automotive shop in 1953 by starting entrepreneur Leonardo Sarao, a mechanic and a former Calesa driver. From an initial budget of 700 pesos, the company grew into a multi-million corporation. At its peak, the ratio of Sarao jeepneys rolling the streets of Manila outnumbered other names by nearly 7 to 1. The name Sarao became synonymous with the vehicle. Sarao promoted the jeepney as a symbol of Philippine culture. A Sarao was exhibited at the Philippine Pavilion at the 1964 New York World's Fair as a national image for the Filipinos. In 1971, a Sarao jeepney traveled from Manila to London and all over Europe as the Philippine icon of the London-Manila Express, a roadshow sponsored by the Philippine Tourism and Travel Association to boost the country's tourism and industry to European countries. Sarao is also a manufacturer of owner-type custom-built jeepneys and other type of vehicles for schools, businesses, and other institutions. Pope John Paul II rode on a specially built owner-type jeepney by Sarao during his first travel to the country in 1981. On October 2, 2000, Sarao Motors was forced to halt jeepney production due to rising costs. Sarao Motors employees were downsized from 300 to only 50. The collection department was the only part of the company that remained operational. Sarao Motors eventually resumed its operation, albeit in a lesser scale. Ano po pangalan mo?
Patrick,
Gano'n na po kayo katagal namamasahe?
almost 18 years. Starting 2000.
Sa isang araw po, mga magkano po binibigay?
Hindi pare-pares kasi. Minsan mga 1 plus, minsan hindi talaga.
Sa mga may nagaganap po kasi yung jeepney modernization, ano po yung opinion niyo dun sa jeepney modernization?
Sa jeepney modernization, maganda naman yan kasi siyempre hindi naman ilalabas kasi yan kung hindi siyempre maganda. Ang sa amin lang, siyempre kami bilang mga veteran driver, siyempre kung anong maganda, lahat naman tayo pwedeng sumama dyan Ang ano lang, siyempre ang comment namin, baka hindi siya tumagal ng matagal.
Kasi bakit hindi po siya...
Kasi nga, siyempre, iba nga yung may makina kaysa sa mga electronic lang. Yung parang siyempre, kuryente.
Hindi po makalusong sa baha.
Oo, hindi, yun ang mga ano nun Baka hindi mo pwede ilusong sa baba. Ganyan. Kasi mga tag-ulan, ganun.
Yung price po kasi ng modernized jeepney, nasa price po ng 1.8 million. Kasi yung government po, sagot lang po is 80,000. Sa tingin po ba, hindi po naman po mababawan sa utang yung mga jeepney drivers?
Ay, siyempre, sunod sa ano na yun, ang comment namin doon, kasi hindi ubra Hindi naman siya sa babaon, kakayanin. Ang problema lang siguro, siyempre wala naman tayong, kumbaga, alam maliit na ano lang tayo, na operator, hindi kakayanin talaga yun. Oo, kasi kung halimbawa, ang ano natin kailangan mag-produce pa tayo ng 1.6 o 1.8 para mag-ano na natin yun, makayanan natin.
Kasama po ba kayo sa piston?
Oo, kasama.
Ano po yung mga parang pinapaglaban niyo po sa strike?
Hindi, pinaglalaban namin dyan, una-una, siyempre kung halimbawa tulad namin, mga bago unit namin Pagdating kasi sa ano, siyempre ang ano lang naman dyan, ang pinapatupad kasi nila, tanggal bulok, tanggal usok. Paano kung bago yung unit mo? Alam ka namang isama mo sa phase out yan, siyempre diba, hindi pwede. Oo, ganun yun. Yun ang pinaglalaban namin, no phase out ng bagong unit.
Sa mga karanasan po kasi ng mga ibang jeepney drivers, yung mga checker po daw kasi ng mga jeepneys, hindi nila dinadal sa tamang proseso. Ano po yung opinion?
Ganun nga, may time na ganun nga kasi yung halimbawa, ikaw kasi halimbawa, time na registration ng jeepney mo, di ba? Pag yan halimbawa kasi hindi ka nagkumpleto, yung mga kung ano-ano yung mga gadget na iba, sasalpak dyan, pag hindi mo kasi nakumpleto, hindi ka talaga makapag-registro Ang opinion namin kasi dyan, kasi katulad namin, maganda naman itong ano ng sasakyan namin, siyempre kailangan i-test nila lahat yan. Paano masasabi na approve yung sasakyan mo o hindi lahat i-test? Kailangan talaga i-ano nilang tamang proseso yan. O gano'n.
Ano po masasabi niyo sa gobyerno na sinabi po na may threats yung piston, tapos kahit yung piston na po yung nagsabi na wala naman po strike?
Hindi, masasabi namin dyan, hindi naman namin sinasabi na sinisira ng gobyerno, pero yun ang nakikita namin na ginagawa nila Para masira lang yung kung halimbawa tulad namin na miyembro kami ng piston, mga driver kami, sila ang gumagawa ng palso sa amin Ganun hindi nagiging tama.
Thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Okay, welcome.
Magandang gabi kasama ko po si
Sir Neme, di mailig.
Di
Alakas Piñas.
Ilan po ang inyong jeep?
May utility kami, 3.
Ano po ang opinion niyo sa jeepney modernization?
Ang unang-una dyan, hindi namin kayang bumili ng jeepney modernization na sinasabi ng government natin na 1.8 hindi namin kayang bayaran na biglaan yan. Kasi ano po, ipalalabas lang namin sa driver yan. Paano namin babayaran yan? Kasi umpisa pa lang, ipalalabas namin sa driver. After 1 year, hindi na, marami na sira yan. Hindi na kayang ilabas ng driver yan. Hindi natin masasabi. Sino ang gagawa ng electrical na yan? Pag nasira yan. Sample, dumaan sa Espanya yan, bumabaha. Ang baha sa Espanya, abot lampas ng gulong. Pwede bang dumaan ng electrical jeep dyan? hindi na yan makakadaan dyan. Mahihirapan ang electrical jeep dyan. Yung sinasabing bago na modernization, tsaka mahihirapan kung bayad dyan kung ipalalabas lang namin sa driver yan.
Kasama po ba kayo sa piston? Ano po ang inyong pinapaglaban?
Ang pinaglalaban namin dyan na hindi na kailangan baguhin ng jeep, na steady na lang yung jeep. Kung kailangan pagandahin, hindi pagandahin. Huwag nang aalisin, huwag ipe-pace out ang jeep. Yun lang naman ang sa amin mga operators eh.
Ano po ang inyong opinion sa pagsuspende ng klase kahit sabi
Yun.
na po ng piston na wala na pong strike?
Doon nagkamali ang gobyerno. Bakit niya sinabing mag-i-strike yung piston? Total, hindi naman totoo mag-i-strike eh. Bigla na lang sinabi ng Malacanang na mag-i-strike daw ang piston. Hindi naman natuloy yun eh. Wala sa vocabulary ng mga striker na itutuloy yung araw na yon, pero hindi natuloy yun, di ba?
Opo.
Bakit nag-suggest yung Malacanang na mag-i-strike? Hindi naman totoo yun eh. Hindi natuloy yun. Okay.
Ano po ang masasabi niyo kasi nagbebenta na po yung government ng 1.8 million na electronic jeepney. Pero 80,000 lang po yung masasagot nila sa 1.8 na yun.
Bakit nila ibibigay lahat yung ganong karami? Samantalang, paano yung ibang taong na operator, kagaya namin na maliit na operator, anong gagamitin namin jeep? Anong gagamitin namin na jeep? Kasi 80,000 lang yun. Eh, ganong karami sa Pilipinas ang sasakyan na jeepney? Di ba?
Opo.
Anong kukunin namin? 80,000 lang yan. Eh, buong Pilipinas yan. Nasaan yung kanilang pilalabas? Nasaan na? Wala pa naman eh.
Ano
Konti pa lang yan.
ano na lang po ang may paparating niyo po sa mga Pilipino at sa mga tao?
Sa ngayon, ang sistema, sana ang tao, pag-isipan lang nilang mabuti ang ginagawa ng gobyerno. Minsan hindi rin ayos eh. Di ba? Magbigay sila ng modernization na yan sa jeepney. Hindi nila inisip
Malaking adjustment po.
Ganong kamahal ang sasakyan na iyan na bibilihin ng isang mahirap na operator, tapos ipalalabas mo sa tao, sa isang driver. Laksan ko ang salita, na-addict pa ang driver. Ang hirap ipalabas sa isang addict sasakyan na yan. Tapos after 1 year, sira-sira na. Sino ang magagawa? Meron ba tayong electrician na magagawa ng mga jeep na yan? Mahihirapan tayo. Tumirik halimbawa, sa Alabang tumirik. Nasaan yung electrician? Bumabaha sa Espanya. Oh, nasaan yung electrician? Ipahihila mo, bawal ang regger. O, diba?
Thank you po, sir, sa interview.
Okay, thank you.
Today we are here with James Abram Naldo, a student in San Beda College, Alabang. Saan kayo nakatira?
Sa Binyan, Laguna.
Ano yung pinaginagamit yung transportation? Bus, jeep, grab?
Usually yung gamit kong transportation is jeep, tapos bus, tapos tricycle. Tapos pag pauwi, tricycle, bus or jeep, then UV Express naman.
Daming sakay na. Nung nagkaroon ng jeepney strike, paano ka napunta ng school?
Well, mahirap na mahirap, pero nung nga, mahaba yung pila din sa station. Yung mga enforcer, kasi nagkaka-traffic din sa haba ng pila, nagpadala sila ng mga UV Express na van. So, konti lang naman kasi na-accommodate ng UV Express na van. Mahaba pa rin yung pila. Tapos, kung may jeep man, hindi na nakakabalik kung nagagawa na ano, hindi sila makakabalik kasi nakakabalik sila sa nag-hold ng strike.
Walang yung parang mayor niya hindi nag-provide na parang jeepneys.
Hindi eh, kasi hindi naman sinano yung local government ng jeep. Hindi kasi active yung local government ng jeep. Kahit yung mga jeep na Pasan Pedro, Pasan Parosa, lahat yan wala, pero yun nga, wala naman pinabay yung
Ano ang opinion nyo sa ginagawang jeepney modernization ng gobyerno?
Wait, para sa akin, makakabuti naman kasi yun sa in the long run. Siguro ngayon, hindi pa nakikita ng mga tao. Kasi, yun nga, yung mga driver ng jeep, ayaw kasi mahal daw. Ito ganyan. Pero kasi kapag...
Tsaka lahat ng jeepney drivers hindi mapro-provide agad ng...
Oo. Kaso kasi kung hindi yung gagawin, kailan gagawin yun? I mean, oo nga, mahirap. Kaso, kailan gagawin yun?
Maging malaking adjustment siya, no?
Pero kailan ba magiging handa yun? Yung mga tao sa ganun, hindi gagawin yun. Kasi kung magagawa naman ngayon yun, dating din naman yung time na magiging okay yun. Kasi, nandiyan yun.
Thank you, James A. Ronaldo. According to Babe Romualdez' experiences, the modern jeepney is for the greater good of the majority. A few years ago, he met a company driver who retired from his job to drive his own second-hand jeepney. Unfortunately, the man came back to ask for help and informed Babe that his health was starting to deteriorate due to the long hours he spent driving, and he developed a chronic lung disease due to his constant exposure to air pollution. The man eventually died due to lung cancer. He left behind a family of 5 children with no means to support themselves, as the oldest was still in high school and the youngest was in 4th grade. According to a report published in The Lancet, one of the oldest and best medical journals in the world, demonstrated that air pollution is connected in 9 million deaths throughout the world in 2015. With air pollution having the most impact, pollution is the cause of 16% of all the deaths around the world, which is 3 times more than AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis combined. The number of deaths caused by pollution is 15 times more than wars and any other forms of violence. Other than drivers, the EDSA traffic enforcers are at great risk of developing lung problems. According to specialists from the Lung Cancer of the Philippines, according to them, exposure to air pollution for more than 2 hours can already harm the lungs. Lung inflammation may develop even with protective mask, albeit it may take a few days rather than hours. It's given that commuters are likewise at great risk of developing illnesses. Jeepney Modernization Transportation Secretary Art Tugade stressed should be implemented immediately. We will not stop anyone from expressing their right, but you need to make sure that you do not step on other people's rights. You have to consider the common good. Remember, you are not fighting the few, you are protecting the many. Today we are here with Sir Jericho Colina, a professional, and we're gonna talk about modernization of jeepney here in the Philippines. Sir, what is your profession?
My profession is social science teacher.
What is your current stand on the phasing out modernization of jeepneys?
What do you mean by stand on the issue? I mean, are we talking about am I in favor or not?
Your opinion.
At first, basically modernization of jeepneys are better or good for the country. In so as to or based on or if modernization means from scrap jeepneys to a modern jeepneys, but the effects of modernization in terms of phasing out old jeepneys, phasing out the jeepneys in to be exact, diba? I think it's bad for the country, it's bad for the public kasi looking at the public transportation, we only have jeepneys. The reality is we have jeepneys, we only have the buses as means for public transportation. So basically, if you phase out jeepneys without putting better or pamalit, I think will suffer or the public will suffer. And if in modernization, marami kasing mawawalan ng trabaho. I don't have the data, but if you research on jeepney drivers here in the Philippines, we actually have a lot of Filipino drivers that will lose their jobs if we phase out old jeepneys. It's good for the environment, it's good for the economy because we're going to have a new industry, but the thing is, the public will suffer. Diba? So, my stand is, jeepney modernization is a good thing, but the government should do or make a policy or a different mechanism that will support, or during the transition na wala tayong jeep, that meron silang ilalagay na better public transportation. So, yeah.
Would this phasing out modernization cause the end of cultural aspect of the Philippines?
I don't think so. Kasi remember, kultures are evolving. Culture changes through time. So it doesn't mean na if we phase out all jeepneys, mawawalan yung kultura or the beauty of jeepneys as to our culture. Kasi ka, di ba, if you talk about Filipino culture, nandyan na the material culture of Filipino culture is the jeepneys. Hindi na mawawala eh. We have the Japanese, we have jeepneys as material culture of the Philippines. But phasing out, I don't know. I think hindi siya mawawala. Hindi masisira yung culture natin because culture changes through time. We have a lot of cultures that ended or lost because of the new culture that we are accepting. For example, if we talked about how the way we dress, may nakabahag na pa ba tayo ngayon? Wala na. Kasi we are changing, we're modernizing. So, hindi naman nawala yung bahag. It's part of our culture. But definitely, hindi na siya yung mismong trend or mismong sinusunod natin. Same goes with, let's say, sa shoes, sa chinelas, sa footwear. Dati may bakya tayo. We know bakya. We accept bakya as part of our material culture. But today, may nagbabakya pa ba?
Wala.
Diba? Apart from the sa matatanda. Pero pag we look at the generations today, you guys, we don't just bakya anymore. We use shoes, sneakers to wear. So it depends. But phasing out jeepneys, well, I don't know. I think hindi na mawawala yung culture. It won't affect our culture.
What specific changes do you foresee if the phasing out modernization of jeepney cultures?
Siguro for one, people will tend to buy more cars than expected kasi since wala na tayong public transportation, what are the means para tayo makapasok sa trabaho? Basically, we're going to buy cars or maybe buy more motorcycles. So it would affect our ecology, yung mismo environment natin will suffer. Second, the changes would be more traffic. Kasi kung sasabihin natin na the main cause of traffic is the jeepneys or buses, I think the argument is invalid. Kasi when you go to Las Piñas pala, and then look at the traffic in Alabang Zapote Road, you'll see private cars, not jeepneys, not buses. Same goes with EDSA. Siguro, the problem in EDSA is the policies of the government, traffic policies, and yung mga parkings and undisciplined drivers. Not the jeepneys or buses itself, but the drivers. So that is the problem. So I think there will be more traffic kasi more volume of cars is expected na magpupunta, diba? And I think another change would be, and this is I think an advantage kasi there are certain people, let's say family of jeepney drivers, and some people have this mentality of since meron silang viable job in the future even though without taking a college graduate course or what, pwede mo sila mag-jeepney driver. May income pa rin, may trabaho pa rin. But if we phase out jeepneys, these people will end up studying more to go for a job that is not as a driver, parang ganun. So I think it will be more, it will be an advantage for us. And last, I think the biggest change would be Philippines will be more industrialized, more developed than before. But again, yung traffic is palagi na siya nandyan, even though tanggalin mo mga jeepneys.
How do you think this will affect the everyday lives of a Filipino?
For the public, yung the masses, yung mga hindi naman masyado mayaman, doon sa mga walang sasakyan, definitely they will suffer. Diba? Knowing the fact that our job is in Metro Manila, diba? Even they live in Cavite, they live in Laguna, they live in Batangas. Halos lahat ng trabaho is in Metro Manila. So every day, laging may bumabiyahe. But cutting out, tanggalin mo lahat ng mga yon, we will end up suffering. Our economy will suffer. But eventually, hahanap ng way ang mga companies, hahanap ng way ang mga tao to be able to come to their works in Metro Manila. If hindi aalis yung mga companies in Metro Manila and go to the provinces. Mangyari dyan, condo units will emerge, apartments. So the Metro Manila will be the people or yung density ng tao doon is mas dadami kasi they will live there just to go to their job. So I think yun yung effects to the daily lives of the Filipinos. The capitalists or the business or corporations, sila yung magiging masaya. Assuming that in the plans of the government we're in, there are private companies that will create or build modern public transportations, modern jeepneys. Sila yung mag-benefit, not the public masses. And last, I think, the rich sector, okay na sila eh. Wala na tayong problema sa kanila. But looking at that policy, mas malaki yung magiging effect niya sa mga mahihirap or sa mga normal na Pilipino. Yan. So, that's it.
That is all. Thank you, Sir Jero Colina.
Yeah, thank you.
And
Hi, this is Eric John Vispo from San Beda College, Alabang. Is this Sir Cortez po?
Magandang hapon sa iyo, Eric.
Sir Cortez, ano po ang iyong profession?
I'm an investigator of the Land and Transportation Office. We are part of the Law Enforcement Service Unit.
What is your current stand on the phasing out modernization of jeepneys?
For me, good and bad ang modernization. Most of the time, people have this misconception about the program na isinasagawa ng gobyerno. We do not wish to put the transport sector and our fellow Filipinos out of business. We simply want our country to develop in every aspect, especially transportation. The country loses a lot of money when it comes to traffic, and this is the solution being proposed by the government. Di naman ito anti-poor dahil may ibibigay na 80,000 ang gobyerno. Pero for me, considering the wage na nakukuha ng isang jeepney driver sa isang araw, mahirap, lalo na't around 1.2 or 1.6 ang 1 e-jeepney. When it comes to our environment, this is a good thing. Around 15 or maybe 20 euro per complaint jeepney and required na mayroon ng jeepney operators. In all honesty, we are behind na pagdating sa Euro technology since North America implemented Euro 3 in 2005 pa. Pero I see this is a good step toward being environmentally friendly. Kasama na rin ang implementation of Euro 4 under Philippine Clean Air Act noong 1999. When we implement Euro 4, we would have around 50 less co-emission.
What specific changes do you foresee if the phasing out or modernization of jeepneys continue?
The changes Personally, I foresee that people would use Grab or Uber to reach their destination. Technology is getting better and it is more convenient. It's pricier than riding a jeepney, but it offers convenience and knowing the availability of that mode of transportation. Time is money, ganon. Dahil dito, syempre, dadami din ang mga kukuha ng cars. Dadami ang magpaparegister ng vehicle sa amin, This is also cause traffic,
What is the LTO's part in the jeepney modernization?
We implement the tanggal bulok, tanggal usok. We inspect vehicles very thoroughly and strictly. We are serious, about implementing the new campaign of the government. Yung mga di makakapasa ng inspection at di nakakapag-register, mabibigyan ng penalty. Yung iba, pinapapunta namin sila ng emission center, magkaroon ng proseso at kapag hindi nakapasa, i-issuehan sila ng violation dahil smoke belching sila. Pag ang isang sasakyan di nakapasa ng roadworthiness check, kailangan magbayad ng multa. If the drivers fail to attend their hearing, authorities will have their names alerted to us, the LTO and the LTFRB. Madami rin kaming nahuhuli, ano? Yung iba, hindi gumagana ang brake. Yung iba, bald na tires nila. Delikado na yan, as is. Pero lalo na tuwing umuulan.
Ngayon po, how do you think this will affect the everyday lives of a Filipino?
Sa isang Filipino commuter, ano? Mahihirapan sila dahil mga mababawasan ang number of jeepneys na bibiyahe. Pero the government is doing everything to aid in that matter. Kaya tayo nagkaroon ng government-issued shuttle para sa mga mamamayan.
Thank you po for your time, sir.
Maraming salamat, Eric.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Transport groups have contradicted the plan, saying small operators and drivers cannot afford the loans to buy new vehicles. They contended the loan facility isn't the answer for the issue. They said the program will execute the small operators and single-unit jeepney proprietors while the government will supplant them with bigger corporate-type franchises. Transport groups likewise cautioned the present minimum fare of 8 pesos would go up if the administration pushes through with the program. To Stop and Go Coalition and the Pinagkaisang Samahan ng Tsuper at Operator Nationwide or PISTON said they encourage the restoration of jeepneys but not the aggregate elimination of the symbol of the Philippine transport system. According to Veles of Sunstar Davao, even with the government 7-year payment plan plus a subsidy of 80,000 pesos, the driver has to worry about paying 19,000 a month for the next 7 years. His take-home pay now is around 500 to 100 pesos a day. But with the new Jeep, he has to shell out 600 pesos a day. Now, how much does he have left to feed his family? He also stated that modernization in the Philippine context comes with a price, other than the expense of working class drivers and operators. Even the commuters have to brace for a huge fare hike with modern Jeeps. The phase-out may displace the livelihood of around 600,000 jeepney drivers nationwide due to the fact that modern jeeps could not absorb everyone into their system. The financial requirements of the jeepney modernization program is difficult to fulfill for a majority of drivers and operators. Several people believe that there must be a kinder process other than this abrupt change in our transportation system. There should be a more compassionate and considerate way of making the jeep safer for both the drivers and the passengers, and to make it more environmentally friendly. Majority of the people are still questioning the transparency and the current process of the jeepney modernization program. Senator Grace Poe is urging the Department of Transportation to submit its report and inform the public on the latest developments on the jeepney modernization program. The senator believes there is an urgency to modernize the country's public transportation, such as jeepneys. The program should not result in unjustly killing the source of livelihood of the drivers. According to Lopez, an Inquirer opinion, we might regret replacing our jeepneys because Euro 4 might become obsolete. The jeepney fares from 8 pesos may increase up to 25 pesos due to the Euro 4 class engine. In the United States, Volkswagen was charged for deceiving customers on its clean diesel ad for its Euro 4 engine. Using software to mask emission levels, Volkswagen faces class action suits across the entire European Union. So Euro 4's claim of being environment friendly is under question. It will become a waste of money, a regression, rather than a modernization. Jeepney phase-out will affect about 10 million Filipinos, including 2 million in downstream industries. Jeepneys are too big to just remove on an impulse based on insufficient studies.